we passed a document. I think that many of you have seen that documents, Development of Democracy in 21st Century. In that topics, that was a serious document, and we cannot, in that documents, we came to a conclusion that until and unless we will not develop our ideology and political line, it is not possible to accomplish revolution in any country. This is one thing, and a revolution cannot be repeated. That was our conclusion. Revolution can never be repeated. Revolution can only be developed. You know, from France, the revolution from the Paris Commune to the October Revolution and Chinese Revolution and all the revolution all over the world, they were not repeated. They were only developed. You know, and we came to that conclusion, and also we tried to have a vibrant society. How to create a more and larger mass base. How to isolate the enemy in a very close corner, and in that sense we put forward in that documents that multi-party competition within a, even in socialism, within a constitutional framework, we should introduce this multi-party competition, and we should go in the fight against bourgeoisie, even in that front, not only in the front of the war, but also in the front of this so-called bourgeois democracy. We should have to win over the heart and mind of the peoples, and we should have to dare to fight against that is in that front. And through that new conclusion, we said that we have developed our ideology. We applied Marxism, the universal theory of MLM, in our concrete practice, and that national conference synthesized that development of ideology as a Prachanda path, you know, because I myself led that whole ideological struggle, and I myself put forward all the strategy and political tactics over the whole years of the People's War, and party decided that the development of our ideology should be named after its principal leader, and it is named as a Prachanda path. And when we concluded that multi-party competition is must even in socialism, at that time when I tried to study the whole experience of 20th century, particularly the experience of Lenin, you know, when I tried to restudy and I tried to think about whole strategy and tactics of Lenin and all the documents of the Lenin, I came to a conclusion that if Lenin would have alive for another 10 years, 5 to 10 years, he would have come to a conclusion that multi-party competition is must, even in socialism, to create a favorable condition to go ahead in communism. Because why I derived this conclusion is that because Lenin, just after war communism, he introduced new economic policy. As you know, I think that everybody know all this history, and at that time Lenin introduced in new economic policy, he put forward a slogan that socialist competition, organized socialist competition in economics. Without having a socialist competition, we cannot grow our economics, and without having developed the economic condition of the peoples, it is very difficult to have a sustainable socialist movement. Therefore, he introduced competition in economics. If he would have alive another 5 years, he would have introduced the competition even in politics. He never afraid from bourgeois. In every aspect, in every front, he was always dare to fight against bourgeoisie, against reactionary peoples, even in parliament and outside the parliament, in academic circle and everywhere he tried to fight. And through his conclusion of the socialist competition, we came to a conclusion that in 21st century, having synthesized all the experience of 20th century, we should dare to fight against bourgeoisie, even in political competition, and we will be able to win this battle. Until and unless we will win this new battle, we cannot create a conducive and favorable atmosphere for socialist revolution. We cannot accomplish new democratic revolution. And through this new conclusion, through this new development of ideology, we put forward a proposal for peace negotiation. We have so many negative and positive experience all over the world, and the revolution in Philippines, Turkey, and latest revolution in Peru, and the setbacks of the Peru, all the negative and positive aspects. When we go through all the revolution from Burma to Singapore to Malaya and everywhere, we try to understand what are the positive and what are the negative in whole this revolutionary process, and we came to a new conclusion that we should have to dare to fight against the bourgeoisie in this so-called bourgeois democratic front. And with this conclusion, we put forward the peace proposal by ourselves. When I put forward the proposal for peace negotiation with the reactionary state, I have in mind the latest example of the Peru, when Comrade Gonzalo arrested there, and the new situation arrived, and Comrade Gonzalo tried to put forward the proposal from jail, from imprisonment. He tried to put forward the peace proposal, but reactionary state did not respond him because they have already won the war. Reactionary has won the war. After the capture of Comrade Gonzalo, there was not a possibility of winning the revolution at that juncture. Therefore, we try to draw lesson from that very serious example, because thousands and thousands of people led their lives for the revolution in Peru, but ultimately it came to a very serious setback after the capture of its leadership. Therefore, in Nepal, we have won the heart and mind of the people. Majority of the population are in favor of our party, but if we will not take a proper measure and we will not take a flexible tactics and we will not go in fight against the bourgeoisie in this so-called democratic struggle, you will not safeguard the victory of the revolution. We cannot go ahead in the revolution. In that sense, we put forward the proposal of the peace negotiation from our side. For the first time, our representatives went in the capital city and they have a first rounds of negotiation. And what we put forward as a minimum condition for the peace, that until the election of the Constituent Assembly, as Lenin said just during the period of the First World War, and as Mao Zedong also said in Chinese Revolution, we also, in our particular case, in our concrete case, we try to draw the lesson, and we put forward that if you are ready, you bourgeois, you reactionary are ready to go in the election for the Constituent Assembly. If you want to let the people to decide their destiny by themselves, what kinds of state they want, what kinds of political system they want, then we are ready to come and in the peace, and we are ready to take part in the election, and we are ready to agree any verdict of the masses, the peoples. We will not agree any verdict of the reactionary. We will obey, we will respect.